Behind every modern armored vehicle is a manufacturing process built around precision, coordination, and thousands of carefully controlled operations. The process begins long before the vehicle reaches the assembly line, with carefully selected industrial materials arriving for preparation and inspection. Before fabrication begins, incoming materials undergo inspection to verify that they meet the factory's required quality standards. Once approved, large sections of material are precisely shaped into components that will eventually become part of the vehicle. Some components require enormous industrial machinery to transform flat material into precisely formed structures. Precision matters at every stage. Components are measured repeatedly before they can move deeper into production. Inside a facility like this, every component follows a carefully organized path from one specialized workstation to the next. Next, individual structures begin coming together, using carefully controlled industrial joining processes. Piece by piece, what began as separate industrial components starts becoming recognizable as a complete armored vehicle. But this is only the beginning. From this unfinished hull, hundreds of components and specialized systems will. While the hull takes shape, another production line prepares the major structures that will eventually form the vehicle's turret. After forming, critical components are refined using computer-controlled industrial machining equipment. The goal is not simply to remove material, but to create surfaces and interfaces that meet exact manufacturing requirements. Precision components are checked again, using digital inspection systems to compare their dimensions against approved manufacturing requirements. Before major structures are joined, their interfaces are carefully prepared to ensure clean, consistent industrial assembly. Because many of these structures are extremely heavy, automated handling systems help position them with controlled precision. Specialized fixtures hold large structures securely while their different sections are brought together. Controlled industrial welding joins major structures, while automated systems help maintain consistency from one section to another. Every major structural connection must pass inspection before the assembly can move forward. The separate pieces are becoming a single structure. Soon, the turret and hull will move toward the same assembly line. With the major structures taking shape, production now moves deeper into one of the factory's most precise environments. Here, enormous machines transform rough industrial components into precisely finished mechanical parts. At this scale, precision becomes visible in every movement of the cutting tool. Once machining is complete, the finished component is carefully transferred for inspection. Precision machining is followed by another critical stage, verifying that the finished component meets its approved production tolerances. Surface finishing removes imperfections and prepares components for their next stage of assembly. Automation helps move heavy components efficiently while reducing unnecessary handling during production. Individually, these parts may seem unrelated. Together, they form the mechanical foundation of the vehicle.
Now the precisely prepared components begin returning to the central assembly line, where the vehicle will gradually come together.
The factory has transformed raw material into precision components. Now those components are ready for the stage where the vehicle truly begins to come together.
The precision components now converge at the heart of the production line, the vehicle's main hull.
Heavy lifting systems allow large structures to be positioned with remarkable control. Before anything is permanently joined, the assembly is checked to ensure every major section is correctly positioned.
Once alignment is confirmed, controlled industrial joining begins, gradually turning separate structures into one rigid assembly.
After joining, critical structural areas are inspected before the assembly can progress.
Inside the hull, technicians begin preparing the structure for the many systems that will eventually occupy the vehicle. Some assemblies are too heavy for manual handling, making coordinated lifting equipment essential to the production process. With the main structure assembled, exterior surfaces are carefully prepared for the next manufacturing stages. What began as individual pieces of material is now becoming the recognizable body of a complete armored vehicle.
The hull is taking shape. Nearby, the turret is reaching its own assembly milestone.
With its primary structure complete, the turret enters a new stage, detailed assembly. Inside the turret, technicians prepare the framework that will support a complex collection of mechanical and electronic systems.
Large assemblies are introduced carefully, with every movement coordinated between machines and technicians.
At this stage, individual assemblies are carefully integrated into the larger turret structure. Modern armored vehicles rely on sophisticated electronic systems, making electrical integration another major part of assembly.
Before the vehicle advances, its integrated electronics are checked through controlled diagnostic procedures.
Outside, the turret receives the same careful attention, with surfaces and interfaces checked before final assembly.
One of the most dramatic moments on the assembly line arrives as the completed turret is prepared to meet the hull.
For the first time, the two major structures become a single, recognizable vehicle. After months of fabrication, machining, and assembly, the vehicle has finally begun to look like the machine it was designed to become.
With the main body assembled, attention turns to the systems that allow this enormous vehicle to move.
Each running gear component is inspected and prepared before it becomes part of the vehicle's lower assembly.
Heavy suspension assemblies are installed beneath the hull, creating the foundation for the vehicle's tracked running gear.
The tracks are prepared separately, with each section inspected before it joins the running gear. Once prepared, the track assembly is carefully brought around the vehicle's running gear. After installation, the running gear receives another inspection before the vehicle can move to final integration. While the mechanical systems take shape below, technicians continue integrating the vehicle's electrical architecture. Every connected system must communicate correctly before the vehicle can advance to final inspection.
The transformation is now unmistakable. The factory floor no longer holds separate components, but a nearly complete armored vehicle.
The major mechanical and electronic systems are now integrated. What remains is the transformation from an assembled machine into a finished production vehicle. After assembly comes one of the most visually dramatic stages, the transformation of the raw machine into a finished production vehicle. Before coating, every accessible surface is carefully prepared so the final finish can remain consistent and durable.
A controlled primer layer prepares the surface for the final protective coating. The familiar dark olive finish now covers the vehicle, giving the separate structures a single unified appearance.
The coating is carefully inspected for consistency, coverage, and visible imperfections.
With the protective finish complete, technicians return to the vehicle to install its remaining exterior details. The final identification markings complete the vehicle's factory appearance and connect it to its production record. Before leaving the factory floor, the completed vehicle passes through a final visual and quality control inspection. Every major stage has led to this moment, where the finished machine receives its final production checks. After countless inspections and assembly stages, the finished vehicle is finally ready for the last step: controlled testing and final approval.
Manufacturing is complete. Now the finished vehicle leaves the assembly floor for controlled evaluation.
On the test course, engineers evaluate how the completed vehicle responds to controlled terrain and movement conditions.
Back at the observation station, engineers review the collected data and verify that the production vehicle has passed its final checks.
From raw industrial material to a fully assembled and tested machine, every stage reflects.
And that is the journey, from raw material through precision manufacturing and assembly to a finished machine ready for its next chapter.